the dean you need. I am the dean you love. Please come back to me. I am the dean you know. I am the dean you need. I am the dean you love. Please come back to me.
Assalamu alaikum, this is Naeem Muhammad from Dean TV, always on, always live. We're here this evening with my man ANX, also known as Alman. That's right. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, bro?
Walaikum salam. I'm good.
Thanks.
How are you?
Good, man. I'm doing good. We had a great day today. You know, we did a lot of filming and everything. But I want people to. I think you've been on Dean TV before, but I wanted to do another interview just to maybe we can talk a little bit more. So where are you from? Whereabouts in the States?
I was born and raised in Stratford, Connecticut. People don't really know where that is.
Okay.
It's kind of near New York, so I just say New York sometimes. It's easier to understand.
Yeah, I know. I mean, right now I stay in like Northern Virginia, but I'm from Baltimore, so I do the same. Like I'm from Baltimore.
Well, saying New York is probably going to offend a New Yorker, so I'm sorry, but Connecticut's nothing like New York, so I'm just saying that just to make myself on the safe side. But.
No, it's cool. It's cool. People like to have some kind of frame of reference. And so how did you get involved in, I guess, just performing and music and different things like that in general?
I started singing when I was 12. I started writing when I was 14. Really just, I think I mentioned this actually on a Dean TV interview previously. It was actually, I went to a Native Dean concert. They were performing with Sami Yusuf. I was 14 years old. And I was just there, and I was just like, this is awesome how they're using faith and music and kind of combining them, getting a message across to the youth. And I think that's when I really made the intention of like, this is what I want to do, because I had songs written and just lying around, and I was just really interested. So that's where the inspiration was born, and I just went along with that. And then I actually made an album when I was 14 as well.
Okay. What was the name of the album?
The Opening.
The Opening.
Yeah, so it was basically just, self-produced at home with some software that I got my hands on, and it was a really simple album. I sold maybe like 100 copies. It was like in my community. So
100, like mostly like your mom, her friends. And your dad.
No, it was actually there was this youth camp, and in Connecticut, it was like the first time that they had this youth camp, and I performed there and sold the albums there, and it was interesting. I got some interesting feedback, but that's really when people started realizing like, oh, Alman is this kid that does artistic stuff. Okay. And then when I was 18, I started seriously considering going forth with it as a career, and then the rest is basically history.
Okay, so did you go? So you're saying 12 and you started writing. Did you start performing first, or did you immediately say, "I'm just going to record and just get this out here"? Or how did that go?
Yeah, for me, I never wanted to make a public appearance until everything was all set, and the way I had envisioned it in my mind. So I initially just went in. I was like, I want to build my own studio, just record stuff and put it out there and see if it catches anything. No one really knew what I looked like till recently, and so that's basically what it was. I just went in and I just wanted to create content. I was really interested in producing, and I grew up listening to so many artists, but Linkin Park would probably be one of the biggest influences during my teenage years. But then afterwards, I just started listening to a whole bunch of other artists from all different genres. And so listening to their music, that's when I really wanted to, I tried to emulate that, and that was at the production end. So I didn't really care for going out for performances at that stage. It's different now, but at that stage, I was just trying to produce.
Okay. So, and these productions were self-productions? You had friends? You were in the studio? It was all built at home? Or how did it all work out?
It was, it started off with a desktop computer and a single desktop microphone, and then it just slowly progressed. And every time I got my hands on some money, my first job, I just bought a whole bunch of things I didn't need.
What was that first job?
I worked retail at Zara. It's like a clothing.
You know what? I just found out Zara sells men's clothes, because for some reason, like the name of that place, I just thought it was like a ladies' shop, and someone told me like, you want a suit, you should go to Zara. I was like, what am I doing? What, a lady suit? What are you talking about?
That's funny because I'm wearing a Zara jacket right now, so okay, cool. It's not for ladies.
It's not. Okay.
Just
thanks for clearing that up.
Zara sells men's clothes
for men too.
Yeah.
Next.
Hope you're getting paid.
All right. So you were buying stuff, and you started buying and recording, because I remember the first time I think we all got connected, and first off, that Sami Yusuf concert was it the one in New Jersey or was it the one in Boston?
It was Jersey.
Jersey. Okay, and that was one. I'll tell you, that one was it at the NJPAC, or like the New Jersey Performing Arts Center, or was it at the State Theater?
It was at the State Theater. It was
State
like
Theater.
it was there was more like layers in the audience.
Yeah. I mean, those were some of the biggest tours
Yeah.
that for this kind of genre of music has had. And that was a good kind of introduction.
Yeah.
Now, what I was going to ask, so I think the first time we had made contact was, I think we were doing a Ustream recording our last album, The Remedy, with ANX, and I remember you asking him about what is that we were using and what reverb and all, a bunch of different technical questions, and so you were still building your studio at that point.
Yeah, I think at that moment I was just trying to see if I can get your guys' attention by basically what I did for the viewers was I basically just I listed their setup and like all the equipment they're using. I was like, oh, is that the thing? And then I just looked at the computer. He's like, this kid just listed my entire setup. Like, what is he doing? And then you guys were like up late at night, and people from around the world were there. They were speaking foreign languages and stuff like that. And I was like the only kid in America, probably like just sitting there at 3 a.m. and I'm like, these guys I need some connections because I've been doing this alone for too long. And then everything worked out from there. I don't know how, but it just. I reached out to ANX after that. Right. That's how I discovered his work, and things just got through and it worked out. So like you said, you went through there, and then from there somehow you connected with him to do your first official in studio.
Nowadays studio is a loose word, but I mean more professional production, working with professional musicians. And how did that process go? From being on Ustream to being in the studio with ANX and his friends. Well, the first thing is, one of the first things that ANX had told me was, the less that you have to work with, the more inspired you get, the more you feel you have to produce on your own. So, instead of having 6 different keyboards and synthesizers and whatever it may be, and you're just messing around with sounds all day, literally just sit down with one instrument, whatever it may be, and just and create content, write songs. That's the first thing I learned. Well, what is the first thing you did? I mean, not about learn. We'll get to learn, but you said, okay, I'm ready to do this album. You reached out to him and said, hey, I want to do an album, and then you're on a plane in the studio. How'd that go? How did I get on that plane, or what did I do when I showed up at his door? That process. What was the process like?
Oh, okay, so the process. You want the trade secrets? I mean,
whatever works.
So basically, what I did was I reached out to everyone that I could that I knew had some kind of foot in this field of artistry. People like Native Dean, ANX had his connections, and Peter Gold did the artwork for the album, and he's done amazing artwork for other people. So I just went up to them and I was just, I told them that, listen, I have this project I want to do, and these people are on board. And, I'd go to one person and say they're on board. I'd go to the other person and say they're on board. So that everyone kind of collectively were like, oh, well, there's a lot of people working on this, so let's do it. And then it worked out that way. And then, I got an opportunity to go out to California, work with investors and stuff, and it all came together, alhamdulillah, and people really supported that.
And I heard you were out there for about 2. I heard you were out there for 2 months, even working on this, just working on this your debut album. So
it was 2 albums. We created 18 songs and decided it was going to be 2 albums, continuation of Seconds to Sunset. And when I first got there, I literally I went to ANX, and my approach was, okay, I'm here in California. I want to make an album. What do I do? I had no idea of, I just knew I had some demos that he had heard, but I had no idea what the process was going to be. And then he introduced me to some amazing musicians, and you've worked with them as well, and you can testify to how amazing these guys are. And they kind of just took the music to a whole other level in terms of composition, the melodies, and all that stuff. And working with them was it was like a super treat. It was amazing because I hadn't discovered music really in terms of sitting with people who can literally master the instrument. I feel like these are masters at what they do, and it was just awesome seeing a product. Just for the people out there, like the kids who are writing, one day, when that idea turns into a full, just this completed project. It's so humbling, because I remember one of the songs I did, Voices and Sounds. I remember writing that song in my room. not knowing if anyone would hear it. And then, just recently we had the music video made, and there's a room of people working on the same song, a video for the same song that I had no idea would ever get to that point. So it's often like the blessing of, God's blessings, but just to keep that hope alive, that inspiration.
So, and we're gonna end on talking about the video and that single. Now, if you're talking to young people who are watching this, there's young people around the world who are looking at this and seeing that, I have my songs. What are some suggestions to go from just writing in your and dreaming in your bedroom of these songs to getting them produced and getting them out to the world? Do you have any suggestions as a up and coming guy yourself?
My suggestion would be, stay true to yourself, and whatever you do, renew your intentions all the time. Just keep renewing your intentions and remind yourself that you're doing it for a specific purpose, and keep that purpose noble, inshallah. But aside from that, in terms of actually creating, be open to criticism and be open to people who want to help you succeed. It's not just everyone is trying to like put you down saying you can't do this or whatever. There's people who are good at what they do, whether they be writers or artists. For example, like if you write a song and it's grammatically all over the place, you make that song come to life, it's just going to sound weird. No one's going to listen to it because it's like there's no it doesn't sound smart. It's just kind of just there. So always be open to those criticisms and take it as a compliment, take it as a reason to keep progressing, keep doing more, because as soon as you do that and the more recognition you get as you do that, people will understand that you are really serious and passionate about your art, and then it'll get out there and show.
All right, so you went through this process, started it from home, 14 years old, you went and saw Semi Yusuf. He's like, I can be Semi Yusuf. I am Semi. You went through that. You started. You did your own thing at home, and then eventually you're in LA, and you produced this album there, and now we have your first single, or maybe your second single. I think you had one single before this, and then there's a single for this video that we're gonna play at the end of this. So the first single, maybe a little plug because I was on that with you.
Yeah.
What was it again?
All Hail the One.
All Hail the One. All Hail the One.
Yeah.
And then the new one is what?
Voices in the Silence.
Tell us about that, and tell us about the video, and then we're gonna wrap this up with playing the video, inshallah.
Yeah. So Voices in the Silence, very simply put, it's if you were to journey into the world of the spiritual journey, what a person goes through. There are moments of darkness, there are moments of triumphs, there are moments of pain, there are moments of trial, and if you were to look inside your own heart and envision yourself going through that pain and then finding the light and turning towards that light for hope and for guidance and for to be happy again, that's what the video kind of shows. It portrays that image. So that's what it's about. Voices in Silence, it's really just that voice that doesn't always speak up. Okay. It's those emotions that you feel. And
last, before we leave, and probably it should have been earlier, if you talk about genre or style of music that you would say I don't like putting anyone in a box. No. And even for us in Aiden, we said we were like a fusion of all these different styles. Don't put us in that category. Is there any things that we could say that you'll find these sounds or this type of style in your work, even if it is a fusion of different types of work? Yeah, that's a question I always have trouble answering, just because as an artist I always keep one foot in uncharted waters. So if maybe a genre I've never worked on, if you hear the album, there's just a whole bunch of different vibes going on. You have like rock, you have hip hop, you have reggae, you have a whole bunch of things going on. So I wouldn't know how to classify myself particularly in terms of the genre. You'll hear a lot of everything coming from me, but the umbrella it falls under is basically just devotional music or faith-based music. Okay. Not explicitly religious, but it has a spiritual connotation. So. Okay. And if people wanted to get some of this devotional faith-based music of yours, where could they go to get it? Right now they can check out secondstosunset.com and ANXlive.com to stay up to date on all this stuff, and it's on iTunes, it's on Amazon, any digital platform, it's on there. Okay, make sure you get legal downloads. So in the video we're going to play right now from? It's Voices in the Silence from Seconds to Sunset Volume 1. Okay, thank you for coming and being on Dean TV, and let's go ahead and go to the video, inshallah. And stay tuned always to Dean TV, always on, always live.
you see your years, feel the fears. Are you afraid of the past, the change at last? Listen to the violence, the voices in silence. Broken hearted ones pray while searching for brighter days. And your Lord loves you so. Don't despair, don't let go, don't be weak, 'cause trials are hard. Keep the faith and you'll go far, inshallah. When you lose your way, don't know what to do or what to say, just close your eyes, just kneel and pray. Your heart will lighten up the darkness like lanterns light a dark abyss. Shine your soul, no loneliness, tears of joy, no emptiness, 'cause your Lord loves you so. Don't despair, don't let go, don't be weak, 'cause trials are hard. Keep the faith and you'll go far, inshallah. Your tears reflect an ocean, a world where you wanna be, where your love for your Lord and the prophet lead the way for humanity. So pray for it, the light to show. Pray for it, the pain to go. Pray for it, the peace you know. Pray for it, for the light to show. Oh, oh, when the lights begin to show, when the lights begin to show, when the lights begin to show, when the lights begin to show.
I am the Dean you need, I am the Dean you love. Please come back to me. I am the Dean you know. I am the Dean you need, I am the Dean you love. Please come back to me.